President Donald Trump was really the first commander-in-chief to cause dramatic uproar over something that used to be relatively benign, his tweets.
And it looks like he's back at it again. Well, technically he first posted this on Truth Social, but still.
Trump wrote, quote, "He who saves his country does not violate any law."
Naturally, social media erupted. The Bulwark founder and publisher Sarah Longwell wrote on X, "People are already moving on from this. They shouldn't. This isn't just another dumb Trump tweet. It's an expression of his view of the presidency, which is counter to everything our country stands for. This should be a red line for everyone who cares about the rule of law." Podcaster Ed Krasenstein wrote, "People need to wake up. This is literally a quote attributed to Napoleon Bonaparte right before he orchestrated a coup, seized absolute power, and crowned himself emperor in defiance of democracy." And National Review senior writer Dan McLaughlin wrote, "This is some un-American monarchical nonsense. The president is above some laws because there are things legally only he may do, but his entire office remains a creature of law."
Meanwhile, scientist Brett Weinstein wrote, "Literally false, metaphorically false." Co-founder of crypto platform Casa, Jameson Lopp, wrote, "Prove it, pardon Snowden." Republican Congressman Eric Burleson wrote, "The president is Napoleon posting and you're blackpilling," which I think that's in support of Trump having done that and saying there's no reason you should be depressed because it's great or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is.
Parsing what that means?
I don't know exactly what the blackpilling reference is about, but naturally I find this more.
I think that was a reference to the joke. Well, the black. It's a deep thing. We could spend the rest of the segment discussing. I think I get it.
Well, I think we should spend the rest of the segment discussing dangers to
I
democracy
don't agree.
instead,
Okay,
Robby.
so I will get it out of the way and say I don't agree with the sentiment, and I don't think he should have said it. It's not good. Now, obviously, there are times where the law is morally wrong. Vast aspects of discrimination and segregation, for instance, in our not-so-distant past, were part of the law, were formalized under the law, and were correctly resisted. We recognize that was smart to do that. Our country was founded by people who rebelled against a government and did not want to abide by its tax decrees because they felt they were not sufficiently represented. So we can't take the position that the law should be followed to a T every single time in every circumstance, but I suspect I share your sentiment that it is wrong for the democratically elected leader to suggest as a just preemptive policy that he will not obey the law. I tweeted that he should have said, I'm looking for this tweet. I had so many insightful tweets over the weekend, including, "Why do movies never start on time anymore? They should." I went and saw Captain America. We can discuss that in a minute. He should have said, "He who works side by side with the law to promote freedom and justice will have saved his country."
Except that there's no evidence that he in fact believes that, which is the problem. Look, I think the points that you make are valid points, but they're representative of an argument that I think thinking conservatives also make in kind of semi-defense of Trump, which is he says something outrageous, and then people say, well, if you think about it in the abstract, in this example, in this example.
No, I'm not doing that here. He shouldn't have said it as he's wrong.
Right,
he's wrong.
Exactly. Yeah. And it is part of a general approach that he brings, which is simply that if he does it, it is automatically right. That is what he's saying here. That is a really dangerous thing for the President of the United States to believe or to say or to express pride in saying. I believe it's now pinned to the top of his Truth Social or something to that effect, or it was for a while at least. The point being, he obviously believes that he is not subject to the law. And there are some instances where the Supreme Court has agreed with that view, but it has certainly not given sweeping license to the idea that, to quote Richard Nixon, if the president does it, it isn't illegal. That isn't any way to have a functioning democracy.
Yes, and what I am worried about is that Trump and some people in MAGA world are setting themselves up for conflict with courts that is completely unnecessary because they currently control Congress. And I know I say this a lot on the show, but it's because I feel it with some urgency. I support many of the things Trump is doing pass laws to actually change these to reform these agencies, to eliminate employees where necessary, to to rescind funding declarations. You have the power to do it. You have to do it through Congress, and then it will be lawful. So there is not actually a reason to need to go beyond the law to accomplish these things, unless you want to be stopped, and then you just want to whine about why you can't get your way. And I worry about that with some conservatives prefer being in opposition. They prefer just whining and complaining that liberals are ruining anything and they don't get their chance to ever govern and they can't do things the way they want. Well, sorry guys, you can't complain about that right now. You have the presidency, you have Congress, you have a largely supportive Supreme Court, you won the popular vote for the first time in a long time, you have approval ratings, you can actually do your things and you can do them within the confines of the law, so do them. But they'd rather be thwarted so they can complain because they prefer being in opposition. That is my fear.
I have a bigger fear than that, which is that they don't accept the authority of the courts to stop them. That it is going to end up in this let them enforce it kind of nonsense, where there is in fact open defiance of the legal system, open defiance of court rulings, open defiance of the rule of law. That's the danger, that it gets into this situation where the President of the United States is fundamentally attacking something that undergirds liberal democracy.
Well, I certainly hope that day does not. I mean, Trump has said in other contexts, he said, well, we're going to, if I get a negative court ruling, then we're going to appeal it. Not that we're going to ignore court rulings or defy, but then we're going to take the other steps to do that, and I hope that's fine.
Yeah, but this statement here goes counter to that, obviously.
It does, yeah. It's a Napoleon quote. I have compared Trump to Napoleon many times.
Your moment is here, Robby.
He is a Napoleonic figure, like Napoleon, returned from exile, unlikely, and unlike Napoleon, actually succeeded in his Battle of Waterloo, and is now even more powerful in his second coming than he was first time around.
To great peril, I think, to this country, but we'll Mar-a-Lago the Elba of Florida, I guess. I don't know.
Anyway, I did see Captain America this weekend.
Okay, well, not to worry about democracy then. On to the movie reviews.
It was okay.
Okay.
No, but the relevant part, it is relevant to this discussion because some people are describing it as or trying to find a political lens to it, because Captain America sometimes has some political theme. The first Captain America takes place during World War II, where he kills Nazis, he kills Nazi scientists. The president is played by Harrison Ford, who's recasting a previous character from the MCU. It's General Ross, Thunderbolt Ross. He is a little bit unhinged, and there's I see liberals saying like, oh, is this supposed to be about how the deep state stopping a kind of reckless and unhinged president is a good thing? But I think you have to really, really read into that, and it's not actually what they were going for.
But was it you and I, or me and Amber discussed, the actor who's playing Captain America, he will express some kind of vague criticism of like what he would consider unthinking American patriotism, I think. It's a whole big conservative kerfuffle. I'm surprised somebody is well aware of conservative social media.
I missed that one. There's a lot to make your way through every single day. We've got more to talk about on Rising coming up next. Stay tuned.